Today we have a Sony CDX 190 CX190E, because that's not a ridiculous name for a camera. Oh yeah, because I'm going to remember that. The Sony HDR, that's what we're going to call it from now on. Now this was released in 2012. This was the entry-level camera over the Sony NEX. It was competitively priced at about $300 depending on retailer at launch. And it claimed a myriad of amazing features. Full HD recording, 1/5.8 XMOR CMOS sensor, 5.3 megapixels, HDMI output, a backlit sensor, 25 optical zoom with an extended 30 digital, steady shot image stabilization, and this one I'm gonna have to check, a Carl Zeiss Vero Tesla wide angle lens. I probably butchered that, I apologize. I'm not good with pronunciations. In any case, it boasted all these amazing features at the budget price of $300 back in 2012. The important thing to note about this is the sensor that they used in this for their full HD recording for all them big boy pictures. It's a standard definition sensor that they interpolate up to full HD. They're already lying with this little HD title here. The sensor that they used in this is worse than a 2-year-old cheaper model. It's clear that they weren't going for the best image quality at the cheapest price, but merely to make the package look good enough so you'd be dumb enough to buy it. And people noticed. The reviews when this came out were lukewarm at best. It was outdated and crap by the time it launched. It was only recommended to buy this camera if it was cheap. But now we're looking back on it, quite a few years later, I believe there is something a little bit more special about this camera. And I feel like the reasons what made it the worst have now made it fantastic. They claimed all these features, which are pretty basic features. There is nothing. They trimmed everything out of it. It doesn't have any internal storage. The UI looks terrible, but I kind of love it. It's actually kind of cool, but as I said, the reasons that make it so bad are what I love about it. Now, something I really want to show you, and I feel like it's the lost art of camcorders. Camcorders really aren't a thing anymore. They've been usurped by the iPhone, pretty much like every other piece of tech these days. There's something that camcorders did better than any iPhone, most DSLRs can't do. And unless you buy one of the very few camcorders left, it's a thing that's gone. And it's something so simple. And you know what that is? Shooting ergonomics. If you haven't used a camcorder before, I highly recommend it. Just because of how comfortable this is. I can go like this and I'm doing. This is why I don't use an iPhone to record. This is why I still take this out for shooting. Just for comparison, this is my phone. Shooting like this gets fatiguing. You've got your hands cramped in this weird crab claw kind of thing, and you got to film it like that. And if you want to like video yourself, you have to go like that. It's awkward, right? It just feels unnatural. I can't do it. It is awful. But this, oh, I miss this. I really do. Everything's there. With iPhones, if you want to zoom in, you gotta, and then you see people like, oh, there we go. That's nice and zoomed. But with this, it fits in my hand comfortably. And everything I need is there. So this is the neutral position of the hand. My hand is still in its neutral position. With that, my thumb is on the record switch, and if I just relax my hand, I have access to the zoom and the photo mode. It's so comfortable. I love it for that. I'm on the YouTube. See what I mean? It's great. Love it. All right, let's actually have a quite closer look at it. Alrighty then, let's have a look at this camera. Now, it's got a dedicated on-off close, so you can protect the thing. I'll show you again just how comfortably that sits in the hand. Got my thumb on the record button, my zoom here, and open it up. nice tactile response. There, your touchscreen, you can't use it. It was a bit too bare bones. Screen this size, absolutely prefer having just a joystick. The joystick is nice. The UI is not great. It's clear enough, but it really looks dated. And the screen is good, and it's fully articulating. Hello. The big claim to fame was its low light visibility. And to be honest, it's actually not bad. I went to a fire festival in the city, and I'll put also a comparison between my phone, which is, to be honest, pretty old. It's an iPhone 7. It's pretty old, but whatever. I don't really upgrade that much. Whilst I'd say the footage on this looks much better in terms of just kind of mood, the footage on this was a lot more visible. That backlit sensor really did make a difference. So if you're like doing kind of night shooting and stuff, this one all the way, you'll get so much more out of it. And like, look at how much it's bleeding through the footage. Like, you can see that like around all the bright sources, it bleeds, and it's so good. The retro vibes that you can get out of this bad boy is fantastic. It's like, I've got a VHS camera, and it does a lot of the things that the VHS camera does. Obviously, this is recording digitally and not to tape, but there's something about the way the sensor, and like, that's just the hallmark of a bad sensor. Like, that's a hallmarks of something that's cheap and nasty, but that's what you want. Like, if you're comparing this with the top of the range model, as I said, the Sony Nex, you'd be utterly shattered. It is terrible, but as I said, I think the worst things about this camera, i.e. its sensor, is the things that make it fantastic. Beautiful footage, just beautiful in the sense that it's just not stale. It is a little bit unexpected and creates more of like a vibe, whereas back in the day, you would have absolutely hated it. It would have been terrible. But like these days, it's just fantastic. We don't want to go around comparing this to like the high tier models, because that's not what it was designed for. It was designed to be an all-in-one camera, and it does it, and it does it really well, and I love it. Give me a cuddle. Big claim to fame of it was its intelligent shooting modes, where it essentially chooses a shooting profile based on what it sees. Every time I left it on intelligent, it did manage to choose a profile that would suit it. Now, you got no manual control, so you're kind of very reliant on what the camera does. I will note that the autofocus is kind of hot garbage. It really has trouble focusing on what you want it to do. So you're really at the mercy of what it decides to focus on. And unlike other autofocuses, you can't indicate where you want it to focus. You're really at the mercy of what it tries to focus on. I had to really zoom in to isolate something, to focus on it, then zoom back out. But now, it's so good. Now there's this one really cool feature I love about it. It's called the highlight function. This is all the footage I took yesterday when I went out to that fire fest. It's got its own like little effects and things. Oh, that cinematic slide. I will be a YouTube sensation before you know it. They say it's exceptional in low light. It's pretty crunchy.
It doesn't even look that great.
But you know what I mean? Like, how cool is that? I didn't do any of that. The camera did it. So if I choose it to highlight and I like what it does, you can save it. You don't have to edit it or anything. It's such a vibe. You could just like do a highlight reel. You don't have to edit it or anything, and then just upload it. And then you got like a cool little retro camera that does all the editing for you. Like, how cool is that? I take this, I shoot with it, I throw it in my bag. It's with me every day, just because if I need something quick and funky to shoot on, that's it. That's my boy. Do yourself a disservice not having one. So what do you go get one. Go get off. Go get one.